Hi, I'm Marilyn LaMonica. I'm 80 years old. It's a big year for me. Hard to believe. Still wrapping my mind around it. And I'm a psychoanalyst, an art therapist, and I guess I could say that I can't call myself an artist, but I'm a creative, let's say. I paint, I've done pottery. So today I'm gonna cook lunch, and I'm making pasta carbonara, a famous dish from Rome.
You never told me how you guys met.
Oh, that's a good story.
Okay.
So Manuel
What?
likes to say that I chased him around the supermarket, and he all the time he was saying no, 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 no.
Don't talk about me before my.
No, actually, I said it wrong. A year into our relationship, he said to me, Marilyn, I have a confession to make. And I was like, what is this? I was thinking, he's married, he's got kids in Spain, disease. I didn't know what it was. He said, for this first 6 months that I knew you, I didn't understand a word that you said.
Biscuit. Off.
Actually, he's younger than I am, and I had a younger friend, and I called her. I said, I met a really nice guy. I think you should meet him. And she said, okay. And then he came over for dinner once because after he was fixing this thing, I made dinner for him. Then we went to the Botanic Garden. Oh, so I said to him, so where do you live? He said, I live on Coney Island Avenue with 6 Pakistanis. How many Pakistanis?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't remember. Probably 12.
This is the weirdest thing. He's from Spain. He's with Pakistanis. So after we had dinner together and we went to the Botanic Garden, that was it. I called her and said, never mind. One thing I haven't told you about myself, and that is that I was a childhood magician.
So,
You can breathe now.
And I had a whole act. People hired me from the time I was 5 years old until I went to college.
you were a college magician?
Well, what I did was I paid for college by doing magic shows for kids.
No.
But before that, in my younger years, I did magic shows for adults. They hired me. It's crazy.
What kind of magic?
Stage magic, rabbits out of hats and milk you pour and then it's not there, that kind of
Birds.
thing. Birds, yeah, doves. When my kids were little, well, first you should know that almost everybody in my family lives into their 90s, some hundreds, on both sides. So it was really a shock that my favorite aunt had a virus after I can't remember what happened, but she had a virus and then developed a disease and died within, a couple months. And she was the person I was closest to in my family. But the most amazing thing happened many years after, and that was that I decided I had been in analysis because that's part of the training, which is therapy for, as part of my training, I was in analysis. And then many years later, I decided to go into therapy again. When I went, it turned out, and I learned this later, that the first session that I had was exactly the anniversary of her death.
Oh wow.
And it was unconscious that I still needed to mourn that loss so many years later, and I hadn't. And that was, it's like unconsciously, I just went toward a way to mourn. Really regret that I didn't get a PhD, because I would have done many more things with that than I did. Even though I am so thrilled with my career, it's like, I really feel lucky that I found work that I love, that I'm good at, that I can do into my old age. I just get better and better at it. But, yeah. And I think I told you that, you know, I grew up in a working class neighborhood. There was nobody I knew went to college except for my high school teachers. And I really feel like it was a fluke that landed me in school, you know. I mean, obviously my ability, my intelligence, but I could have been a cashier at Walmart. And that's what I'm just grateful.
Do you have any advice for individuals like Christian and I, who are doing but also aspiring to be artists, or something that, you know, maybe won't guarantee to pay the bills, but you know, we
It's tough.
yeah, we do it
I mean,
anyways.
I had one son who took that road, and I'll tell you, one thing is, from when he was much younger, he was very creative, but when he told me he was going to study photography at the Tisch School, I was like, oh my God, you know, this is, like, what could be harder? Maybe being a poet, you know, like, what could be harder to, but he always was able to live with just a little bit. He never, you know, like, needed a lot of things materialistically. He's like that, right? Yeah. So I think that's one thing, you know, you have to kind of, if you're happy without having a lot of money, if you're happy in that area where you have enough or just enough, then sacrificing for your art is a great thing. And I would also think it's very easy, as I've seen this, as artistic careers develop, that things are very popular and a lot of people go in that direction instead of going in the direction that's inside of them. Well, and it's a kind of, it's not exactly selling out, but it's creating things that are going to be sought after. And sometimes the work loses authenticity in